else inside.
Is it not the one?
Not the.
Nope. Another one. It's got two photos.
Yeah, so, let me see that. What, I'm glad you guys could attend.
Thank you, Drew. Probably originally from Baltimore?
Yes. West Baltimore. Actually, people started kind of East Baltimore, Highlandtown, and then moved to West Baltimore. For years, they ran this family ran a grocery delivery business. It's still in existence today. It's called Be Green.
Be Green.
And yeah, he had a private law practice early in his career, and he kind of represented, took care of the family's legal needs, but also had his private practice, and then he had been elected to the House of Delegates when he was still in law school. So they both, for years, and then rose in the state house to be the speaker of the House.
And where did he move to?
He has shown me actually where he used to live.
Highlandtown?
No.
That's Highlands in East.
That's East Baltimore. That's where his people started. I want to say like Winnow, but it's over like near Dickeyville, kind of, west side. I don't know the exact, honestly, the exact location.
Does Baltimoreans find that everybody's calling, divided in Baltimore, like Berlin, East and West Baltimore? Like,
that's just kind of how you're either east side or west side, man. People here could probably tell you better than me.
I thought the north side, we're quadrants, so we have northeast, southeast, northwest, and southwest, but
yes,
and west,
there's a North Baltimore and a South Baltimore too, but that's, that's the basic division of the city, right? Like, people tell you.
Yeah, but the neighborhoods are really distinct, that's
right. Well, that's one of the big differences between Baltimore and DC is that.
Well, no, our neighborhoods are distinct, they still are. But
Baltimore has more roots, I've lived in both. I was in DC for 20 years.
Where were you in DC?
I was Woodley Park, I was Old Town Alexandria, I was Tenleytown, I was back in Woodley Park, and I was back up in Tenleytown, so I did a little here and there. Oh, and there was a Hyattsville in there too.
Hyattsville, yeah, okay. I'm in Brooklyn, so in Northeast, so yeah, Northeast and Southeast is very neighbor.
Yeah. Well, people are from those parts of town. One of my big gripes was always nobody was from DC, and everybody was only there for a few minutes. Every friend you made would cycle out.
That's what I like Baltimore. That's the nicest thing you have in Baltimore. That's what really gets along for stuff.
Me coming back, the biggest difference. Everybody in DC asks you, what do you do?
Yeah.
When you first meet them, everybody in Baltimore asks you, what do you like? It's a big difference.
What do you do?
I've had neighbors, for years, there was no idea what I do for a living.
Yeah.
And that's the first question I would be asked in every conversation in DC, because there's a calculus of what can you do for me.
Yeah, I know. Like everybody's hustling for that.
Something. Yeah. So anyway, so that's
And then
really refreshing.
And then DC is always like saying, if you come in, everybody's looking for fresh meats.
Right. So yeah, it's
fresh meat.
that was the 25% lower cost of living on average, gas, groceries, rents, mortgages,
Here?
the whole thing here.
Oh, it's even more, probably.
You could be right.
When you can buy a house for $20,000 instead of a couple of bedrooms. That's gorgeous. You can't even get $800,000.
Thank you.
Even at meat price.
Right. When I first moved to DC, I
Ladies
lived
and
in
gentlemen,
Baltimore.
they can hear you
Oh,
next
yeah.
door. Folks, they can hear me next door.
Oh, sorry.
It was Woodley Park too. They added average parking to the metro. They didn't move it any closer. They just added it
Yeah.
to the name of my rent went up 20%. And I remember because it was $605 prior to the metro, and then five.
Oh.
And 605 was really hard sometimes. Some months I had months where it was like shit, you know. Got to 600, what about the five? And then yeah, it went through the roof, went up to like 850, you know, to the same place. Because
But
it was so,
you know, the Baltimore rental is extremely high, they're artificially high. Yeah, because in DC, you have like housing, because you can't evict anybody, it's a long time, so that makes sense that the rents are twice as much as the mortgage. But here in Maryland, you can kick people out in one day,
okay.
so there's no reason for the rents to be so high compared to like the mortgage rate. It's a really weird situation, artificially high rents.
I've never, I haven't rented here, so I haven't been privy to it.
No, but it's something I've noticed, it just doesn't make sense. Look, in Maryland, you have really bad housing laws. Maybe one day late, you get evicted,
Sir, they can hear you.
Oh.
All right, thank you, everyone. We just finished having a wonderful meeting with our congressional delegation around crime and violence in the city and ways that we can further our great partnerships with the federal government, and we'll take a couple questions. Yes?
Yeah, hi, Peter Sumner with the Afro-American newspaper in Baltimore. A lot of people say that, gun crime and violence is only a symptom of the cause, and what we see the cause is the huge economic disparity in the East and West Baltimore, and really reflected by food deserts. Because everywhere there's food deserts, there's huge gun crime, and the food deserts are because there's not the investments in these neighborhoods, and you have all these guys like Leg Mason and Transamerica. What will you do to get the investments and the jobs to these areas?
Well, we know that all of that plays a part in what we're talking about, the historic disinvestment in neighborhoods, in particular black neighborhoods in East and West Baltimore, all the areas where you see violence. And we think that it's a total, complete picture. It's about, and as you know, as the person who passed Baltimore's equity law and now will be directing our agencies to invest in those areas that have been disinvested in, not just in bricks and mortar, but the people. It's the same thing that we've been directing folks around how we're going to use the funds that our wonderful federal delegation guys in ARP, focusing on the people and neighborhoods that have been forgotten. However, we will still and always will focus on people and hold people accountable who are committing acts of violence, who are trafficking weapons into the city, and hold those folks accountable. It's not doing either or, it's about doing both. Next. Yeah.
First, let me just agree with the mayor. The violent crime issue in Baltimore needs to change. There's no simple answer to it. The type of violence is personal. That is, it's persons who know each other, killing them and hurting people. We've got to respond to that. We need to bring down the homicide rate in Baltimore. And the federal delegation will work in partnership with the mayor. We have a task force, the federal task force that's working on violent crime in Baltimore, in which the city closely coordinates its work. We've got to deal with the most violent groups in Baltimore and root them out and get them out of the neighborhood. We have to provide community partnerships in communities so that there are services available. We have to deal with reentry. We have to deal with all these issues. It's not, we have to deal with the guns and knowing where the guns are. There's a lot of issues that we have to deal with, and the federal delegation is committed to working with the mayor to provide support and help to bring down the violence in Baltimore. We have confidence that we can do this. We know it's not easy, but there's no simple answer to this problem.
Could you give us some examples of, you just rattled off those different issues, some examples of what you all discussed to build that?
So thank you, Alexa. It's about when you're talking about guns, right? We know that we've asked about having increased ATF participation in the city of Baltimore. We're hopeful to do that. We've been having great conversations with the president and now with our congressional delegation, and we look forward to seeing that. When you talk about support for mental health and behavioral health, we know that Senator Van Hollen and the rest of the delegation are looking to support our 911 diversion efforts that will alleviate police's responsibility to deal with behavioral mental health issues so that they can focus on violence. Anybody else?
I have a for the congressional members, we've heard from gun experts who say that the Maryland's laws are only as strict as those in other states. We're seeing the trafficking happen, those guns being brought into the city. What can you do at the federal level to address that, and have you had any conversations about potential legislation to do that?
Well, sure. Look, Maryland is not an island. We do have a strict Maryland gun law, including our permit to purchase law, but it's pretty clear that we need a comprehensive national strategy when it comes to gun safety. Senator Cardin and the members of the House delegation here have been pushing very hard for universal background check provisions. Our House colleagues passed H.R. 8 to do it. We're working to get that done in the Senate. But I do want to emphasize the point my colleagues have been making, which is it's a comprehensive strategy. You have to do exactly what you said. You also have to make sure that ATF has the resources and leadership it needs to track down all the illegal gun running operations and be able to trace guns used in crimes to hold people accountable. You need the prevention. Early opportunity is obviously one important part of the strategy. And finally, and President Biden has talked about this, and Baltimore is part of it, the mayor was at the White House recently, is the whole idea of community-based initiatives and programs, neighborhood grassroots level programs to help address these issues. So I think our overall message in conversation was doing one thing is not enough. You need a comprehensive strategy, and that's what we hope to deliver.
Monday to Monday, there were 23 shootings last week to today. A third of those were teens. Your message, what are y'all's plans that you guys come up with so far? They're going to address youth violence specifically.
We're going to continue to focus on youth violence through all our interventions. We're going to focus, obviously, we have the police department focus each and every day on people who are operating violent groups and using guns to commit those crimes. We're going to continue our great programs like we have at ROCA to identify young people who are at risk and help them to get them out of that. We're going to support community organizations, as you heard from the senator, that are doing work to help young people turn themselves around. But the most important thing that we're going to do is we're going to go down and hunt these people down who are shooting our babies like we have been, and bringing them to justice, and then turning them over to the other parts of the system and work with them to make sure that these folks are held accountable, because we know, again, that people are shooting people over stupid stuff now in the city of Baltimore, and they don't care how old or how young you are. But when it comes to our babies in particular, we're going to make sure that we track those people down.
Thank you all for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thanks so much. See you. All right.
Dutch Spencer, whoever said they have confidence in our whole delegation.
Thank you. That means a lot. Sure.
Thank you so much. I'll see you later. I'll call
Good
you
to
later,
see
sir.
you. Okay.
As always. All right. I'll call you later. Well, I'll see you in a few minutes, right? I'll see you in a few seconds.
Commissioner, thank you.
It's a pleasure seeing you again, Senator. You gave me a lesson that I can get the real. Okay.